How's it going, everybody? It's Pilot Flame. We are back with another FPL video, and today we're going to be looking at players to keep an eye on or players to watch in Game Week 9 and going forward. If you haven't done so already, make sure to like the video. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you are new over this international break. There's going to be a lot more videos coming the following week, as well as on this week as well. When we have a bit more time, we can put a bit more of the other series that we don't normally do week on week during this break. And leave a comment down below as if there's any series that you would like to see in the next break, or maybe in the next week, or anything of that sort. Just let me know and I'll make sure to look at it. I know a lot of people have been requesting the wildcard series, which is definitely going to be back. It's going to be back on Saturday. And make sure to turn those notification bells on so that you can get the content as soon as it is readily available. And also give us a follow over on Twitter and Twitch, PilotFlame226 on those platforms. I left a pinned tweet and pinned comment rather down below, which will show you what times our streams will be over on Twitch for the coming week. The Monday one is going to be pushed back a little bit later than normal, because it seems like a lot of people wanted it, based on the poll that I put on YouTube, to be a little bit later so that people can come in and join in. So that's going to be around 8:30 EST PM, and the deadline stream is going to be back to normal as well, which is I like it when it's back to normal and it's first thing in the morning my time, because then it's a kind of the crazy last minute transfer type of fiesta that you see from some people who like to do transfers as late as possible. But yeah, let's take a look at the players to watch here in Game Week 9. So the first player we have here is Ollie Watkins of Aston Villa. He currently sits at 6.1 million, up 0.1 from his original price of 6 million. He's got 47 points this season with 6 goals, getting a hat-trick against Liverpool, as well as getting 2 goals in his most recent fixture in Game Week 8 versus Arsenal. He has 1 assist to his name as well, and he is averaging just shy of 6 points per game. And his next 3 fixtures in particular are very good. Brighton at home and Newcastle at home in Game Week 11 are FDR ratings of 2. And then he also has an FDR rating of 3 versus West Ham away, who have shown to concede, some goals versus certain teams, but it's just one of those things where it depends on what type of West Ham shows up. Are you going to get the West Ham that played in the first 15 minutes versus Spurs, where they get absolutely hammered? Or are you going to get the West Ham that played last week, that were quite solid at the back and basically limited the number of chances that their opposition would give them? But Ollie Watkins is definitely a player that I would look out for. He is in the very low forward price bracket. Forwards are seem to be somewhat inconsistent. There's not really a mid-price forward that's looking good right about now, with Danny Ings out, as well as Jimenez's fixtures turning and not really performing overall. Wolves just don't really inspire me. But Watkins' Aston Villa has a great run of fixtures all the way up until anyone who would look like myself to save their wild card up until the very end of the Christmas period, look to wild card going into Game Week 16. And Watkins seems to fit that bill. He enables a lot more expense being put into midfield. And I just think overall, he is just a fantastic player. He's going to be playing 90 minutes every game, and he's done so since the start of the season. He's literally played 90 minutes every game, and he seems to be providing. He kind of reminds me a little bit of how, like, Martial likes to play for United. He likes to get in and around the box. He helps with the hold-up play. He's very good, in clinical 1v1 scenarios to try to put the ball away. And he just seems to have a knack and an eye for goal, even if he doesn't get very many chances. And one of the most important crucial aspects is that Jack Grealish, in one of their games recently, was taken down for a penalty, and Ollie Watkins, Ross Barkley, and Jack Grealish were all on the field. I believe it was actually it was either versus Arsenal or the game before that, I can't really remember. But Ollie Watkins was the one who took the penalty, which is quite interesting. Which means that he's going to be on pens when all 3 of those players are on the pitch. Now, that could have been just if Jack Grealish got taken down, he gives it to Watkins, or vice versa. We're not too sure, but you can probably bet that, Dean Smith is probably the, old traditional English manager, and that would mean that your striker takes the penalties. And Watkins, Grealish, and Barkley aren't very, historically very good on them, but if Watkins keeps getting them, and they're, sporadic basically, then hopefully he'll put them all away for his price point, which would be absolutely fantastic, especially with the run of fixtures that they'll have. So I would say keep an eye on Watkins. He's already gone up in price once. Wouldn't be surprised if he goes up again before the next game week, and he could do some damage versus Brighton in Game Week 9. Then the next player that I want to talk about that we should pay attention to, maybe not necessarily in a value sort of sense, but for his price point could definitely be quite good, and that is Hakim Ziyech from Chelsea. He currently sits at 8.1 million in the midfield slot. He went down to like 7.8 or 7.7 and has now gone right back up since he's done so well, getting himself 27 points, 1 goal, 3 assists, averaging just shy of 7 points per match. He does have a mixed bunch of fixtures with an FDR rating of 3 versus Newcastle away. Mind you, Newcastle probably should be more an FDR rating of 2, but that's neither here nor there. Spurs at home could be a good fixture for him, even though it is a higher rated FDR rating. And then Leeds at home, who haven't been defending well in recent weeks. And he just seems like the type of player who's going to be basically the cornerstone of how Chelsea create. You know, I've seen him, pick up the ball in, the half space on the right-hand side, cutting it off the right flank. These deep line crosses with his left foot are just so dangerous. And with Ben Chilwell coming in and around the back, that double up could be, quite a good one going forward, as those two don't seem to be dropped, as they are kind of the main creators for the team. Reece James is as well, and I think him with Reece James also pairs well up on the right-hand side. You can see Reece James kind of making the overlap, giving space for Ziyech to swing the ball in, for Werner or Chilwell to come in on the back post. He's already created 4 big chances this season as well, and 8 regular chances, so basically averaging a big chance created per game over the 4 games, which is, pretty good. That's exactly what you want. You want these players to be getting into positions where they can score very easily, and if Ziyech's going to be doing that sort of thing, then he's going to post up a lot of good points and a lot of good, totals. And with his, great passing range and, ability to pick a player out, he's going to be up there on the BPS points as well because of how good his chance creation actually is. And unfortunately, out of his 4 big chances, I think only one of them wasn't scored. So, and that was the one where Timo Werner just had to basically, hit the ball around the goalkeeper and to basically an empty net, and he would have scored. But 1 goal, 3 assists, good returns for Ziyech, basically a return every week. 8.1 million looks to be a steal for him. And if he's going to be the main, driving force for Chelsea's creation, I think it's definitely worthy of bringing him in versus basically any team. If Chelsea, who seem to be gelling right about now, is going to be a scary prospect for any team facing them. And I think Ziyech is going to be, like I said, the cornerstone and the key man to do that for them in this season. The next player we have up on our list is João Cancelo. He currently sits at 5.4 million as a defender, 24 points with 1 assist, no goals to his name as of yet, averaging the 6 points per match over the 4 games that he's played. And playing in a Manchester City side, we haven't seen a fullback that's as nailed on as he is over the last 4 games. It seems like the back 4 for Pep Guardiola is quite settled now, with him playing at left back, Walker playing at right back, and Diaz and Laporte as the 2 center backs. And he's been creating quite a lot of chances, and I think his fixtures coming up are going to be definitely quite good for him as well. Spurs away can definitely get something there. Spurs' backline isn't all that good. Also, Burnley at home, Fulham at home, those are fantastic fixtures on paper as well. He's created, I believe it's 9 chances in total so far. Actually, 11 chances. I just have to quickly look over at the stats table there. 11 chances for Cancelo, and he's just someone who gets in the box a lot. He's almost like Benjamin Mendy, how he was last season, except the fact that he can actually defend, which is crazy to think about. He can get caught out from time to time, but not as badly as what Mendy did. He's a lot more reliable of a defender and knows when to make those runs and when to support Sterling on that left-hand side. And I think for his price point, 5.4 million, you're not going to get anything, cheaper than that for a City defender. He's even cheaper than Ruben Diaz, who came in at 5.5 this season, as well as Laporte, who's 6 million. Walker, 6 million, but again, got himself the 1 goal, but doesn't really fly forward as much as Cancelo does, mainly because they, kind of work around using Raheem Sterling as kind of the focal point and the creator. and usually use the left midfielder to basically bring it back across to De Bruyne, and then basically overload on that side to basically get men in the box, and then De Bruyne can do like a deep line cross, which then allows for the likes of Sterling, Cancelo, Jesus to kind of flood the middle to the back half of the goal, and they can easily have a tap in when it's slotted across. So I think Cancelo is definitely someone that people should be looking at. Anyone who's looking for a mid-priced defender, you know, Chilwell's gone up in price now in the 6 million bracket, so you have to kind of think he's more of a premium style defender. Cancelo's a similar price to the likes of Semedo and these sorts of defenders, and I think that on a City team that he's creating a bucket load of chances for City players who just need to be slightly more clinical, and then they'll end up blasting teams away. I think he can definitely get some monster holes in the upcoming game weeks. Now, another defender that we have on the list here is Max Kilman, who currently sits at 4.3 million, having gone up in price by 0.3 from his original 4 million price tag. He's got 30 points this season, 0 goals, 1 assist, and averages 6 points over the 5 games that he has played. Now, his fixtures aren't as good. 2 FDR ratings of 3 versus Southampton and Arsenal, albeit Arsenal's attack haven't been great, and they just recently got beat 3-0 by Aston Villa. And Southampton are without Danny Ings, although that they showed that they could definitely score versus the likes of Newcastle. But again, that's not really that big of a test. And then Liverpool away is the greatest fixture, you know, being the, you know, champions of last season. Probably wouldn't want to have a defender versus their attack, and especially away from home. But the reason I bring him up is because he's someone who, if you got on him earlier, then he's going to be a cheaper price. But when you think about it, he's a mainstay in Wolves' team now. So Roman Saiz has been dropped. Semedo's 5.5, Bolly's 5.5, and Cody is 5 million. So if you can get somebody for anywhere from, you know, 0.7 to over $1 million cheaper in the Wolves backline, as someone who maybe you rotate in and out depending on if your defensive structure. I currently have Kilman, Lamptey, and there's one other defender that I'm spacing out on at the moment. But basically, I have 3 really cheap defenders that I kind of rotate in and around. And then I have, you know, Chilwell, and then, you know, one other that kind of, you know, stays in the team week in, week out. And you kind of just pick and choose which one you want. Oh, Ailing was the other one. You can have this rotation of defenders. You basically pick 2 out of 3 to play week in, week out. And you just have to find the right blend. And I think Kilman's perfect for that. He seems to be a mainstay in the team now. He's done quite well for himself. He's also English, I believe, as well, which bodes well for a potential place in the England squad come the Euros as well. Probably won't make the starting 11, but it's still worth looking at as well. But if he keeps performing the way he does alongside Connor Cody, who is and has been involved in the England setup for some time now, I think that Kilman has a great shout for it. And I think in the Premier League, Wolves are definitely a good defensive outlet versus any team. Just their attack that I'm a bit worried about. But Kilman could definitely pop up with a goal or an assist inside the box of set plays, rather. But don't expect that too much. But he's just a really cheap defender in a Wolves team that is usually very defensively solid and is a lot cheaper than some of his counterparts, and could be a very good budget option going into the rest of the season. Now, the last player we have on our list here is Alex Tellez from Manchester United. He currently sits at 5.5 million, and he has not played a game in the Premier League. However, with United's good fixtures coming up, West Brom at home, the most notable one, Southampton away, and West Ham away to follow after that, I think he could be a great defensive option for your FPL teams. He's, you know, sits around the Semedo point at 5.5. You know, Willy Bolly's also 5.5 from the same Wolves team. But Tellez is somebody who's probably going to go straight into the team after the international break, assuming he stays fit and is ready to go come game week 9. And that is because Luke Shaw has been ruled out for 4 to 6 weeks with a hamstring injury that he picked up versus Everton in United's 3-1 win. But Tellez is somebody who, in the PSG game, the one game that he has played before he had to quarantine for a couple of weeks due to testing positive, he was on set pieces, taking them off Bruno Fernandes. He's a very good left-footed option for free kicks, so you don't have to rely on like putting Mata in your team to have a left-footed outlet there. He's also very good at doing that deep lying cross, similar to how like De Bruyne and Trent Alexander-Arnold do on the opposite flank. And he's just something that United haven't had in a while. Somebody who can actually cross the ball. It's you know, something that they've, you know, missed quite a bit. Martial scored a header from Luke Shaw in their 2-1 defeat versus Istanbul. But it's, you can see how, when you put a ball into the box, players will get onto it. Bruno Fernandes scored one off of Shaw's assist as well in that same Everton game that we just mentioned. And I think Tellez, who's somebody who can just have a whip delivery, he can put it on the ground, he can loop it in the air. His corners are devastating, especially when they're in swung from the right side of the goal. He can be, quite a good asset for a Manchester United defender who, for in the longest time we were thinking maybe Harry Maguire, maybe Wan-Bissaka could be, good outlets, but it's all about attacking returns for defenders, and I think Tellez definitely is the be-all and end-all of that, as his numbers showed from his time at Porto. He is definitely a very offensive-minded defender, and if he plays in a 3-5-2 or 3-4-3 system, he may be even more attacking from what we've seen out of him in the Portuguese league. So I'm having high hopes being a Manchester United fan, seeing him play, and I want to see how he gets integrated into the team. But as an FPL point of view, definitely keep an eye on him. He could be on free kicks, corners, and he could be basically the cross merchant that Manchester United have needed to spur their season on in the Premier League. And that's going to do it for this edition of Players to Watch in Game Week 9. Make sure to leave a like on the video if you enjoyed it. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you are new around here. It greatly helps out the channel grow and improve, as well as leave a comment down below as to which players you're looking to keep your eye on or potentially bring in for Game Week 9. And turn those notification bells on so that you can get great videos like this one, as well as many others, as soon as they are readily available. Also, give us a follow over on Twitter and Twitch. It's PilotFlame226 on those platforms. Links are also in the description. I've also left a pinned comment down below as to when we will be doing our streams on Twitch for the Game Week preview, which will be back on Monday at a later time. I'm tentatively having it start up at around 8:30 p.m. EST, and then the deadline stream for Game Week 9 will be back to normal 1 hour before the deadline on the Saturday morning my time. Just make sure to check your time zone. It's going to be 1 hour before the deadline. Thanks for watching, and until the next one, take care.